Hello and welcome back to the Practice Squad. I'm one of the hosts, Jordan LaRoche. I'm joined by Henry Stanage as always.
Hey, Jordan.
Before we bring him up, we're down here at the bottom line, 22 Front Street. Stone throw away from the Hockey Hall of Fame, just down the street from the Scotiabank Center in Union Station. If you're downtown on a Monday or Thursday night, you can grab $5 Miller Lights during the football games, which leads me to our next sponsor as well, Miller Lite. Just the $5 Miller Lights during the games. We'll be doing a bunch of giveaways for T-shirts, maybe some potential tickets at some point as well. A lot to be excited about with Miller Lite. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Henry up. How was your Sunday?
It was good. I actually worked for the first time on a Sunday ever. But my job is very sort of mindless and at home and in front of the TV, literally just publishing headlines in sports. So a lot of football stuff coming through. So wasn't like too big of a detour from my usual Sunday. But yeah, I have a friend who I stole his DAZN because my dad canceled ours because they don't have the Premier League anymore. But now I always have to have him over every Sunday, or else, he's going to use one of the two devices, and I got to choose between the Jets and Red Zone. So it's with my friend Gio for like 12 hours straight, really hungover and irritable.
I've noticed that just a crackdown on just all streaming services in general. I mean, the NHL moved everything that they do to Sportsnet, so we're running out of options here in Canada.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Like now, if you want all the soccer, you gotta get Fubo TV and then DAZN for champ. It's like we're just gonna go back to cable because people are just gonna want the bundles.
Yeah, and same thing's going on with Netflix and all those guys right now. But, that's all for another day. We had an interesting.
We should have just talked about that topic for like an hour straight and then just called it a day.
I mean, realistically, we probably could.
I do have a lot of takes on it.
But week 3, I don't really know what to think of this week. I mean, we had some wins that we expected were going to happen, but then a team like Chargers loses pretty big to Jacksonville. So
guys.
The guys, 100%. You've been riding that bandwagon all year, and it's finally coming to fruition. Why don't we start off with that game then?
Okay, yeah. I mean, with the Jags coming into this season, you had to reason that the head coaching swap, just that, would be worth like 3-4 wins, because you're going from arguably the worst head coach hire ever. It's hard to think of a worse one, to a guy who was able to win the Super Bowl with the Eagles in his first year as a coach. Maybe even if he's not a top 5 coach, he's somebody who can come in and clearly change a culture.
Yeah, and I think that was everything that they needed, because you look at Urban Meyer last year. There was the whole scandal with cheating on his wife, and then just reports out of the locker room just never seemed good there. So with a young quarterback like that, to have someone that has the experience, has worked with guys who had success before, Doug Pearson, I think, just came in and just kind of settled everyone down. And
they have a lot of talent.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep getting better as this year goes on as well. I mean,
they're always bad. There's a billion top 10 picks on the roster. They have a ton of explosive guys.
And they need a guy who can really just bring the best out of them. And we saw him do that in Philadelphia with Nick Foles. Mm-hmm. Why can't he do it with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars?
Yeah, and now Lawrence is reminding everyone why he was the most hyped QB since Andrew Luck. But to be fair, their run game is really what's killing teams. I feel like Etienne and Robinson are just running all over teams. They're getting these leads, and teams just can't catch up because they're just churning out first downs on the ground in the second half.
Yeah, and James Robinson's kind of become the RB1 there over Travis Etienne, which I didn't really expect coming into this year. But at the end of the day, you got to go with the guy who works out. But
he's just better between the tackles. Etienne's going to get the screen passes and stuff, but if you have a 3rd and 2, you're always going to run James Robinson.
He's a little more of a bowling ball out there. But Christian Kirk had a good game. Zay Jones, 85 yards of a touchdown. The receiver core might not be as strong as the running back core, but we have a lot of guys there who have a lot to prove, which I'm always a big fan of, and I like to cheer for those guys a little more.
Yeah, Christian Kirk is honestly worth the price tag so far. That was probably the most mocked free agent signing, but it seems like he's always open. Whenever the red zone goes to that game, it's always like Kirk getting a little 5-yard out, or he's doing stuff near the red zone.
Yeah, he doesn't get a ton of receptions, but he gets that one or two big ones throughout the game. And with Trevor Lawrence with his team, they just need a couple more of these, and I think they're really started rolling and coming together. But let's take a quick side and look on the other side of this with the Chargers, a team that we all thought we're going to do big things this year. This is a pretty rough loss because
I'm not holding it against them.
Really?
They're kind of banged up at the moment.
Yeah.
Herbert's got cracked ribs.
Yeah.
Just a terrible game, and I don't know. I'm just moving on. I don't think this is accurate.
I'll give Herbert the benefit of the doubt there, but just definitely not a strong showing from those guys. Which game do you want to cover next?
Let's do the Chiefs Colts because this has been a rough start for like every eliminator player. I feel like this season. I personally lost my Week 1 eliminator when the Bears beat the Niners. Yeah. A lot of people also lost their Week 1 when the Colts couldn't beat the Texans. Yeah. And then this week, everyone was riding the Chiefs. It seemed like 6.5 was just like, put your mortgage down. That's an easy spread. Chiefs are going to go crazy on them. And the Chiefs just looked really, really mediocre and really couldn't move the ball at any sort of crucial point in the game. And we always forget that these 0-2 teams heading back home with actual playoff aspirations are so desperate.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought the Raiders would win this week, but I completely ignored it with regards to the Colts, probably because they were facing the Chiefs. But what a killer game for the public.
I know, but I think it probably just threw over everyone's parlays this weekend as well. But Matt Ryan came to play. The rushing offense was there, but I'm shocked by the Colts right now because for them to come back just mentally from tying to the Texans, and just kind of a shaky start off of that. To be able to come back and beat the Chiefs in Week 3 and be able to hold that close game together as well is not something a lot of teams can do in this NFL right now.
And if I told you last week that the Chiefs or the Colts were going to beat the Chiefs, you'd probably assume like, oh, Jonathan Taylor's going to have this massive game. He's just going to run all over the I think like 20 carries, 70 yards, and just like, nope. Like they just kind of beat them because the Chiefs played like the Steelers. Like that's kind of who they looked like yesterday. Like there was no sort of flow to their offense, and it was a little concerning.
Yeah, I mean, for Jonathan Taylor, his average 3.4 and his longest was 13 yards, and I don't know. I'm not ready to start buying into this Colts team yet, but they do look pretty good coming out of that, and this is something that you can build on moving forward. So.
And a terrible play call by this Andy Reid, or the special teams coach. They could have gone up 6, I guess, maybe. Anyway, they go for it on a 4th down. It was like a very makeable field goal. Yeah, and they throw the pass off it, and it gets completely stuffed.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking of the fake snap in the Bills game on Sunday.
Right, yeah.
No, I do remember that play. No, just not something you expect from the Chiefs at all, and realistically, they'll be fine coming out of this. So, what do you want to move on to next?
You choose one.
All right. Let's do Browns Steelers. Let's do the Thursday night game. And for me, coming out of this, it's a bit of it was coming out party for David Njoku. First off, he had his first big game of the season, carried me in fantasy as well, which I needed, but. The one thing I really want to talk about this game was Mitch Trubisky and the George Pickens catch. Very OBJ-esque when he had that big catch in his rookie year. How are you comparing them? Did you see it at all?
It's like if OBJ's is a 10, it's like an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little more impressive, personally.
Well, OBJ's is a touchdown. It's way more yardage, and the arm goes further back. That's like if I'm like a professional dunk reviewer, that would be like my reasonings for the score.
Mine was just the body control. I feel like he had the guy closer on him.
It was great. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. But now with the Steelers, I've been begging this question pretty much all season now. They're 1-2. You have a pretty tough loss to a divisional opponent. Do they keep going with Trubisky?
Well, they said they are, and they're facing the Jets. And as a Jets fan, I was really happy to hear that because Pickett, maybe he'd be terrible too, but there's some sort of like unknown, and this wide receiver group definitely does have upside.
Yeah.
So Trubisky, you just know they're scoring anywhere from 14 to 23 points is kind of like a ceiling. I mean, it took them overtime to get to 23 versus the Bengals. If Trubisky's going to be able to get some points up on any team, it's going to be the Jets.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know why you would stick with him, to be honest. It seems like you could still save your season if Pickett came in and was actually good.
Yeah, and I mean, you always want to give that young guy the chance, but maybe they know something that we don't. But on the flip side of that, Nick Chubb is
the Browns are also just good.
Yeah, I mean, and Nick Chubb was just remarkable in that game.
Yeah, he was.
Is he the best running back in the NFL? I think
I'd
I'm
say
there with
so.
him.
Yeah. Unless Saquon has like a crazy year, I could maybe. But I would say just on the ground running, Chubb's the best guy, like between the tackles.
Yeah, between the tackles, you can cut it outside too. But for Najee Harris, only 56 yards. It's not ideal, but I don't know. It just the Browns are starting to win some games, and when they eventually get Deshaun
they're
Watson
80
back,
seconds away from being 3-0.
Yeah,
They're literally like a fluky Hail Mary, 80 seconds away from being 3-0. Like they'd comfortably won that game. They're good.
And you only got 7 weeks. Well, it's 7 weeks. Sounds like a lot, but until Deshaun Watson gets back, this team could be in a playoff spot when they get Deshaun back, and he might be a better quarterback. He might not. We'll have to wait and see about that. But where do you kind of think this Browns team is going to end up?
I think if Deshaun comes back and plays at the level he did on the Texans, which might be a big if, but I could 100% see them in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I think they're just a very good team. They're like well coached. They have a strong defense with playmakers. Now, is their wide receiver core quite good enough? Maybe not. But with that ground game and I don't know if Amari Cooper can kind of have a Pro Bowl season. I think the Browns are a strong team.
And just what you mentioned about the receiver options there, Amari Cooper at 101 yards, and Njoku 89, and then it drops off to Kareem Hunt who had 14.
To be fair, they've had probably the league's easiest schedule so far this season. Panthers, Jets, Steelers, and they have the Falcons week 4, which is pretty incredible. Like I'm assuming it gets much harder at some point.
Even then, I know they have the Texans the week Deshaun Watson comes back.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know about that.
Okay.
And then, which game do you want to cover
Let's
next?
do Bills Dolphins.
All right.
Another just like classic game, teased down to 2.5.
Yeah.
And in the last 4 minutes of the game in particular, it seemed like nobody wanted to win the game. Like it was such a calamity on both sides. You have the butt punt. You have just like the Bills, Allen making a weird throw, Isaiah McKenzie deciding not to prioritize getting out of bounds, but the Dolphins, and one of my best friends is a Dolphins fan, and I was making fun all offseason of this nerdy looking head coach who's like short, looks like he's never played a snap of football in his life, but like the toughness they play with is shocking to me. Like they just hit the Bills in the mouth basically all game, and the Bills weren't able to get to that 28-point threshold we take for granted with them. And honestly, the playmakers make enough plays. Tua is hitting 1 or 2 deep balls a game that are at like pivotal points in the game, so he deserves some credit.
Okay. I just had a little panic attack there. I wasn't sure if I was recording or not.
Oh, true.
But yeah, no, I'm 100% there and with you there because it wasn't really Tua that had to have a big game like he has in past weeks. I mean, the run game was good. I mean, neither Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill really had ridiculous numbers. And even that's with a really, really fractured Bills defense right now, especially in the secondary. So for the Bills, you can take some promise away from that. I'm not really sure you can take that as a Dolphins fan, but I was really for the Bills, they really kind of threw it away from me when they went for that fake spike at the end of the first half. I mentioned it earlier, but
yeah,
I mean, it came out to be a 2-point game. You're in field goal range. They didn't have any timeouts, but you get that spike off. And
stupid.
You win the game. You win the game.
Yeah.
That's not something we really see from the Bills and Sean McDermott because they're usually pretty well refined.
Yeah.
No, I just think Miami just caused issues for the Bills this year, and with the weather as well, it definitely wasn't easy. Because you could see Stephon Diggs cramping up. Saw a couple guys towards the end of the game just really struggling to kind of get off the field. So, I as a Bills supporter, I'm not too worried about this loss to the Dolphins, but it definitely opens your eyes a little bit if you're a Bills fan.
Definitely, because they had an invincible aura to them so far this season. And so it was definitely like a humbling. Josh Allen was like crying after the game.
Yeah,
I was like, relax. Like, did he think they were going to be the 2007 Pats or whatever? But yeah, I was pretty impressed by Miami, obviously.
No, and yeah, especially with more so the defense than the offense this week. But hey, man, the Dolphins are a legit team now. I think they're second in power rankings. We'll get to their game next week in a little bit because there's some shocking news there, but this is a good team.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get 3 AFC West teams, and we're not. We're going to get 2 AFC East teams, though.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom 2 teams, the AFC West or NFC West, are frauds. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about from that game?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And then we'll you want to do Packers Bucks?
Mm-hmm.
The Packers and the Bucks. Again, this is just a weird game overall. When Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers get on the field together, you expect highlights. You expect
it was a little
high-scoring
sad.
game. It was, and maybe it's just the age finally starting to kick in for both of them. But Tom Brady has had a ragtag group of receivers this week, and I'm gonna read you 4 names for the 4 leading receivers. Russell Gage, Cameron Brate, Brashard Perriman, and Cole Beasley. Granted, a lot of them have had success in the past, but for Tom Brady and what he's expecting to go out there every week with Tampa Bay's offense, it's a bit of a drop-off. Yeah,
Cole Beasley, I had to actually publish the article for work. I think he joined them Thursday.
Yeah,
and he played a lot of snaps, which is pretty crazy because I don't think he's been playing football for a year.
He was with the Bills last year, but yeah, no, he hasn't been practicing or anything since the season started.
True.
He has all that vaccine stuff that he's vocal about, and it is what it is. But no, just Brady was missing a lot of guys, and I think he showed it in that game.
Yeah. Well, we know both these teams have really good defenses, and so far this season, the Bucs haven't been able to get it going against any defense, flat out. So I wasn't surprised that they struggled to score and that it was, like a 14-14 game or whatever it almost ended up being. But usually you expect Brady in these slugfests to still get the better of the other guy, even if it's Aaron Rodgers. So seeing them take that delay of game penalty, which essentially ruined the game for them. They had a chance to tie the game, basically last play. And on the 2-yard line for the 2-point conversion, they take a delay of game and go back to the 7. And now you have to throw. And now those second, third string receivers you have to make a play. So it was, I don't know. I'm really worried about the Bucs, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're the team I'd be the most worried about that I thought could actually win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they still have the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl right now, but I don't know. Something's wrong in that team. Someone's just got to figure it out. But on the flip side, Romeo Doubs had his first big game. I think 140 yards after having 27 and 37 yards his first 2 weeks. He did have 1 fumble, but for Aaron Rodgers, this is a potential guy who could be his wide receiver 1. I've never been a big Allen Lazard guy, even though he did have a few good catches. Romeo Doubs is going to keep stepping up for this team if they really want to go far. Yeah,
and they had injuries too this week, which is fair to point out. I think Watkins was out and Christian Watson, the second-round rookie they took. But yeah, Doubs, people were saying all training camp that he was somebody that Rodgers really liked. And we know Rodgers is loyal about if you come through for him, he'll trust you the next week.
Exactly, and that guy for the most part of the season has been Randall Cobb, but it's good to see that the rookie finally gets some touches. But I think it was something what this game came down to was Aaron Rodgers had people to throw the ball to, and Tom Brady didn't.
Yeah. Okay, want to go to my last game? which is Niners Broncos. This was another super weird game. I thought with Jimmy coming in, I was like, let me look at the Niners Super Bowl odds. They're going to come in. It'll be business as usual because Jimmy's been such a professional all offseason, because he's so comfortable with the entire supporting cast. And this game was just like such a tough watch.
Yeah.
Just an incredibly tough watch. And everyone gave the Broncos a pass week 1 when their offense sputtered. Russ coming back home. It's week 1. You're on the road. Then week 2, I don't know. The Texans look good versus the Colts. Home debut. But now it's 3 weeks, and the Broncos cannot score. They cannot put together consecutive drives scoring the ball. Despite Javonte Williams looks good.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton looks good. Judy's had his moments, but this offense, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
and they won, by the way.
I mean, yeah, they're a 2-1 football team. They haven't looked or played like a 2-1 football team, but they're there. And I guess at the end of the day, it's the wins that matters. But Russell Wilson just looks awful in this new offense right now. I don't know if it's just an awareness thing for him, having to look at different colors, but I don't know. It's just, I expected the world from this offense, and they've just been really disappointing. And as looks right now, we're 3 weeks in. This is a 2-1 football team. Do you look at moving Nathaniel Hackett?
No. You can't.
I think that's probably the first. That's probably the first option to go realistically.
I think it's probably more Russ to blame. Well, Hackett looks pretty bad, obviously, especially with game management. But Russ just doesn't scramble anymore.
That's fair.
And he's never been that guy who's going to, kill you from inside the pocket. Maybe he would have his games like that, but he's always scrambling. Then he'd hit Lockett on a deep bomb, when the team needed it.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. And, I mean, just a couple of times from him throwing the pocket, a lot of balls are getting batted by linemen. Yeah. And it kind of looked like Kyler Murray out there, just kind of having a hard time seeing over everyone. But I don't know. I still think Nathaniel Hackett's probably the first one to go there. I don't think you spend all that money on Russell Wilson just to, maybe rest him for a game or trade him.
Teams just don't fire their coaches in week 3, though.
I know.
It'd be completely unprecedented.
I'm not saying this week, but probably if we're still having these issues in week 7, week 8, you might look at it then.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be a harsh owner, but I don't have a problem with it. You got one more?
I think that's everything I wanted to cover from this past weekend. Yeah.
Should say quickly that Lamar Jackson, I was thinking on Sunday, he's like the Giannis of the NFL because he's just easily the most dominant regular season player when he's right. Another 5 touchdowns against the Patriots in Foxborough. Obviously not the strongest Pats team we've seen, but at home I still expect them to come in with a good game plan, and he just was completely overwhelming for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to beat the Bills this week. 2-2 Bills.
I don't hate that. But no, you're 100% right about Lamar, and that comparison is great just because he's a freak of nature athlete.
And playoffs, you maybe wouldn't have them as the first guy you take in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe honest, you might now, but Lamar, you wouldn't. You would take other guys over him plus, but just the freakish athleticism that just leads to regular season dominance, especially over mediocre to poor teams, is very similar.
Yeah, and for him to do this in a contract year means he's gonna get paid.
Russ is $250 million.
Yeah.
I'd be sweating it if I were the Ravens. They should have paid him already because it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bigger than.
If Lamar wins the Super Bowl and he do you have to give him over $300 million?
Probably.
I have no idea. I'm saying if Russ and Deshaun got 250.
Well, also speaking of a Ravens Super Bowl, plus 1,400 right now. We were texting a little bit about that earlier. That's some pretty good value for a team outside the top 5 who are looking pretty good right now.
The odds aren't going to be that good if they get healthy. So you're basically betting on the fact that they'll get healthy because they can't win it if they're going to be this banged up. But I don't know. If they did get healthy, they sure would be a threat.
I'm not saying it's a lock, but it's a good value pick.
Oh yeah. I still like Niners 23-1 as well. They'll get it rolling.
Yeah. Again, that's a team I could feel like. I mean, they've done it in the past, just surprising people on the way to the Super Bowl. It's a very similar
Nobody
team.
in the NFC is that good.
Yeah.
Well, Philly's good, but
Okay, yeah. No, but it's a very similar team that's had postseason success and regular season success. It's going to be a matter of time before it finally kicks in.
yeah. The show where we look at to next week's slate and really good Thursday night game this week.
Yeah.
Where you have the Bengals at home, -4 over the 3-0 Dolphins. You were just saying that line baffles you a little bit, so why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, you have this Dolphins team who just come off beating Super Bowl favorites, who are 3-0, number 2 in the power rankings. The offenses look good, the defenses look good, and they go up against a 1-2 team who has lost to a Dak Prescott-less Cowboys team, and just beat the Jets. But to have them a 4-point favorite is just a little bit baffling for me. And even a money line dog 2 for the Dolphins who are plus 175, which I've already hit both of those. So
Yeah. I'm really struggling with this because I assumed that the Bengals would be like 1-point favorites before I looked at the line. And I think I'm going to take the Bengals this week. The Dolphins, look, they deserve all the credit in the world, but they could easily be 1-2.
maybe, but yeah, we were talking about the.
Well, they were down 21 points to the Ravens in the fourth, and the Bills, had the ball with a minute left and on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but this Bengals team, they just look dead through the first few weeks, and then this is a team that just barely made the playoffs last year, and just everything went right for them on route to the Super Bowl. I just don't know if they're. I'm still not sold on them. That's probably the best way I can say it.
So you're all going to be taking the Bengals -4. I would stay away from this line because you can't go over a field goal from what you've seen from both these teams. So I'll go Dolphins +4.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's definitely probably the best line to take. Maybe an over 47. It's not terrible.
Maybe. The Dolphins D is good.
The Bengals isn't.
yeah, that's true.
We want to go to the Vikings and the Saints. Again, I don't know what to think of these two teams. I'm not ready for.
I think I know what to think of the Saints.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Saints, but the Vikings not so much. Just with Kirk Cousins, you never know what you're gonna get. But it's pretty clear with the Saints now that James is struggling. The offense doesn't look good. I mean, I think I have the stats somewhere here. Yeah, so 1 TD, 2 interceptions, 353 yards. That's exactly what you expect from Jameis Winston, just an abnormal amount of throwing yards for...
his back doesn't work.
His eyes, his brain.
He's got a broken back. They keep giving reports, and it's like, how is he playing? He's got 3 fractures in his back. He's just out there standing in the pocket. Of course he's getting picked off. And now Michael Thomas is hurt.
Yeah.
And Jarvis Landry.
Things have gone from bad from worse to this team, and that is a very typical Jameis Winston stat line, though.
Yeah. Ton of yards, a lot of picks.
And then so it's going to be a big game for Christian Olave. He had a big week last week, 150 yards, with Mike Thomas out and Jarvis Landry out. He's one guy who you might take an over on if you like his reception line. If he just keeps getting better, he's going to have a big opportunity to do it this week.
Yeah, I'll be definitely taking Vikings -3 because Saints have looked pretty, as bad as any team over the past 2 weeks. Yeah. Even the touchdown Jameis threw was, a hilarious throw. It was, quadruple coverage, and his receiver just, glided up and caught it one-handed in the midst of it all. It was pretty incredible. Yeah, definitely Vikings -3. Probably one of my favorite bets. And I'm an idiot for taking Saints -3 last week.
I mean, at plus 100, that's pretty good value too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then we move on. You want ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah. Just we'll go down one time.
All right. The Browns and the Falcons. Yeah, this game sucks.
Falcons actually not bad.
Yeah.
Falcons have played pretty solid every single week. They scored a lot of points in week 1 and 2. Kept games very tight, especially in Los Angeles against the Rams. And then I was like, I think they're better than the Seahawks, and they went out and they won.
Yeah. I mean,
Mariota, pretty good.
I was about to say,
he's fine.
I mean, we knew he was a serviceable quarterback. I mean, God, the guy was a top 5 pick a couple years ago. But Kyle Pitts, it took him a couple weeks to kind of get going. But after having a big week this week, I think it's pretty safe to say when we have him and Drake London clicking, this offense is pretty good. And you have that dimension with Mariota being able to run the ball too. There's a lot of ways this offense can expose you.
With that said, this line isn't high enough. I know it's in Atlanta, but -2. I'm definitely taking the Browns. And I'm definitely looking at that under as well, under 50 points. Well, under 49.5, but yeah.
Yeah, the Browns have a solid defense, and this Falcons offense still not really tested. So I think this is a good challenge for them, and I'm more okay taking that under as well.
This is like 24-13 for the Browns written all over it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to be.
Well, thanks.
And then we go to, I think probably the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Bills-Ravens. The Bills are hurt. The Bills, they do have
the 2 best quarterbacks from the 2018 NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean they weren't the first 2.
The only 2 still starting.
Yeah, because you had Mayfield, Darnold, and
Rosen.
Josh Rosen. Well, I mean Mayfield's technically a starter.
Oh yeah, Mayfield. Yeah.
But no, the
he
Bills
just throws screen passes.
Screen passes and check downs. But the Bills are down bad right now. Trey White, Micah Hyde, Christian Benford, Tommy Doyle, and Diggs did leave early. He's probably going to be back. He did leave the game early last week, though.
In Baltimore, might add.
Yeah. So climate-wise, it'll be better for Buffalo than going down to Miami this past week. But to be missing essentially your whole secondary, and you're rolling with young guys, draft picks, guys who have never really started before in that secondary, I'm leaning towards the Ravens with this one.
Yeah, I have no idea how this line's over a field goal for Buffalo. The Ravens have looked incredible in every game this season. They just happened to lose one of those games when they allowed 28 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But that sometimes is a good kick in the butt, and they looked fantastic this week. Bills favored by 3.5 in Baltimore seems crazy, considering that, like, this is a battle of the MVP so far. Lamar at home. I'll be taking that plus 155 money line.
I'm not so sure about the money line. I am going to take the Ravens spread for sure. Maybe I'll think about that one a little bit.
It's just good value.
Yeah, it is. It is.
This should be like Buffalo minus 2.5 with like a plus 130 Ravens money line.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not ready to make a decision on that one quite yet. But
well, yeah, you have to have a spread choice.
All right. You know what? I'll do Bills minus 3.
3.5.
3.5. Sorry. 3.5. Words are tough right now. But with that, what I was saying earlier about the Bills secondary just being weak, Lamar's been throwing the ball really well this year. So, like I said, it's a good opportunity for them to really put their foot down.
Dobbins back.
Sorry?
They got J.K. Dobbins back, so that's going to help the run game.
Yeah, and that just opens up the passing game. So
Duvernay's really good, too. Like, Bateman and Andrews get a lot of spotlight, but Duvernay has made an incredible catch in every game so far this season.
But he's only getting like 2 or 3 receptions a game.
I know, but one of them's always a touchdoing.
Oh, 100%.
Where it's like a tippy-toe grab.
I think it's 5 touchdowns this year already. And this guy's
I don't think I actually knew of Devin Duvernay before this season.
No, yeah, I think they brought him as a kick returner, and then first play of the season, he returns that kick, and then he's just been getting a regular shift on offense, which is great to see.
Last night, the Giants punter had the most improbable tackle I've ever seen on the Cowboys punt returner.
I didn't see it.
This guy Turpin, he had 2 punt return touchdowns in preseason, so he made the team. He's like absolutely electric with the ball in his hands, like probably as fast as any guy. And it's one-on-one open field, him and the Giants punter. And the Giants punter just completely flew himself in the air horizontally and managed to like graze him with a shoulder pad and stop a touchdown. But I burst out laughing. It was funny.
No, you also see the big punter hits and the kicker hits.
Yeah, the McAfee special.
Yep.
Cowboys Commanders. I mean, how are the Cowboys 3.5? Give me the Commanders.
100%. And the money line too at plus 150 for the Commanders.
If I didn't lose all my money off my account this week, I'd actually be locking stuff in right now.
Are you positive or minus on the year?
I'm probably like $5 positive, but I've had more negative weeks. I just had a really good week too.
Right, fair enough. I wish I could say that myself, but
I withdraw though. I haven't gotten a work paycheck yet, so I'm actually withdrawing out of the account.
You've been living off your gambling.
Yeah. Week 2 actually paid for groceries.
My girlfriend's doing the same thing with her red now, which has me a little concerned.
She's gambling on football?
Yeah.
Really?
Off of my picks.
Oh my God.
No, we'll get back to topic here. With the Commanders and the Cowboys, we don't do much talking here. We're obviously both picking the Commanders, I think.
Yeah, the Cooper Rush thing is fun story, but he doesn't look that good, and Ezekiel Elliott doesn't look that good, and CeeDee Lamb doesn't look that good, and they've pulled these 2 games out. Their defense has to get a lot of credit, but the Commanders are actually capable of like getting the ball downfield. Like, I think I saw some stat that they either have a 40-yard completion or 3 and out on like over 50% of their drives. So they're very boom or bust. They just need a couple plays. They had a very poor week against the Eagles. I think they come back, divisional matchup. They beat the Cowboys in Dallas, plus 250, plus 3.5, or plus 150 money line, plus 3.5. At minus 120, but still, give me that.
Take that to the bank. I mean, this Washington team, it still has a lot of weapons. Carson Wentz leads. He was second in the league in passing yards. I don't know if he's still there now, but no, there's just so much more like with this Washington team than Dallas right now. And as with that, we go to the Seahawks and the Lions.
I'm taking Detroit because I haven't been taking Detroit a lot this year, and I want to hop on. It sucks to root against them. They have these phenomenal first halves every game. Yeah, we're like at halftime, it's like, wow, Amon-Ra St. Brown already has 8 catches. And
yeah, there's a fun team to watch.
They are.
I mean, they're just going to use their guys and abuse them until they can because it looks like Swift's going to be out with injury this week. So, but Jamal Williams has been running the ball really well. On top of that, so I'm not too worried about that, but I'm still probably leaning towards the Lions with this matchup.
Minus 4.5. I like the money line minus 200.
I like the money line a little more.
Minus 4.5. Like the Lions over field goal is like terrifying because they could be up 4 touchdowns and it could go to overtime.
Well, let's look at this past week.
Just give me the money line, and that over any game involving the Seahawks with an over under of 50 is sort of enticing. Like But the Lions games are all super high scoring, so probably leave it be.
I'm probably not gonna touch this over or under. I don't trust the Seahawks offense enough, and even then, Detroit could put up a goose egg at any moment. I'm just waiting for it.
Chargers Texans. There's no way we're both not aligned on this. This is another really weird line.
Yeah. I think the Chargers just put back everything, last week in the rearview mirror, and just snap.
They're gonna stomp them. Yeah. Minus 5. I get a touchdown. Easy.
I'm doing that, no problem. Like
even minus 225 money line.
I mean, the over is not too bad either. 44.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a curb stomping, and Chargers put up 38.
Yeah. Texans. Who did the Texans have this week? I'm blanking.
The Texans?
Yeah.
The Chargers. We spoke about.
No. Last week.
Oh, I am blanking on that too.
Oh, the Bears. Right. They lost to the Bears. Great. Yeah, I'll take the minus 5.
Yeah. And then we go Titans Colts. Again, 2 teams I'm not sure.
Stay away, though.
Yeah.
It's the biggest stay away of the week. The 2 teams that have cost me the most money this year.
I mean, the Colts, you don't expect them to tie against the Texans. They tie the Texans. You don't expect them to beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs.
Shut out by the Jags. Shut out.
Yep. And with the Titans, again, just a team you don't know what to expect.
Titans killed me beating the Raiders this week.
Yeah. And week before, Ryan Tannehill gets yanked.
Yeah. Derrick Henry still doesn't look great, but
No.
Treylon Burks looks pretty good.
I just think Derrick Henry's it's going to take him a few weeks before he's back at prime Derrick Henry. I think he finds that again, though.
Yeah.
I just think
Defenses wear down in the second half of the year type deal.
Yeah, and I mean, what was his injury again? It was his knee, right?
From last year?
Yeah.
Oh, it was his foot.
It was his foot,
Which
yeah.
is concerning if you're like 220-pound running back, but
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think once he gets the confidence back in it, it's the first real huge injury that he's had since coming to the NFL. So I'm willing to weigh on him a little bit.
Bears Giants. Another tough game. I'll probably take the Giants money line at -170. I think they'll get back on track here. I think the Giants will beat the bad teams. I think their new head coach is that guy where he can do that in year one. -3, it's like I don't really want to deal with the spread this game, but I will take the -3. Oh, we didn't do the spread for Titans Colts.
Oh crap!
I have no take on it at all.
3.5. If anything, I take the Titans.
When in doubt, just take the points.
Yeah. But even then, it is the stay away of the week.
Miller Lite, stay away of the week.
And we'll go back to the Bears Giants, and the Giants, they are a little more competent than the Bears. I still don't know if I'm putting my faith in it though.
With Bears and Giants?
Yeah.
I'll take the Giants -3, but I wouldn't bet it.
Yeah, even then, yeah. That's probably the best
Bears
one.
are 2-1, by the way.
Sorry?
The Bears have a 2-1 record.
It was the Bears.
It's
it's
pretty-
Justin Fields. It's a mediocre defense.
Who would have thought, though, honestly? Thought they were winning 2 games this whole year.
I mean, yeah.
Not
that's
impressive
fair.
wins, but...
That's fair. I mean, you had that week 1 against the 49ers. And
Yeah, when it was a swamp on the pitch.
Yeah. And then week 2.
They got blown out by the Packers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well-
I mean, that's what you expect from a Bears season. Just
Yeah.
a couple wins here and there. But you want to move on to the Jags and Eagles?
This is my favorite game of the week.
It's right up. It's probably about one behind the Bills Ravens right now. But
I guess that's a hipster pick. Okay, it's my second favorite game of the week. But this is 2 very it teams of the moment.
it's the future of the NFL and both quarterbacks with Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence.
Get real, Jalen Hurts. Come on.
What do you mean?
They have a sick team. Hurts is fine.
He's winning me he's winning me fantasy games.
He's
right
a great
now.
fantasy QB, but we have so many good young QBs. Is Hurts even at top 10?
330 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He had a good game. He had a good game.
100 rushing. I mean,
he had a great game. But future of the NFL. Come on.
He's been doing this all season, man.
He's good, but he's a fantastic team.
I won't call him. I won't give him too much of a tire boost until we get to the playoffs and see what he does there. But for a guy in his first full year as a starter, it's a pretty good start.
Second full year.
Second full year. It's a pretty good start.
Yeah. He's playing great. But they have an amazing O-line. They obviously have the weapons. They have the D. Yeah, he's been great. Okay, this is a tough line for me. I don't love having the Eagles under a touchdown at the moment.
Yeah.
They look so smooth and stress-free every game.
Yeah, and I feel like they see a team like the Jags and there's they see blood in the water. I think that this is a team that they see as a potential. As you know, they're different conferences, aren't they?
Ooh, Doug Peterson revenge game.
Oh, that too. But I think that this is gonna be a really exciting game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't love that touchdown line. I don't hate the Jags plus 230.
If I had to do anything, I'd go Jags money line.
Yeah.
Over them or the spread or the Eagles spread.
Yeah. I don't know if I have the money to do that, but it is a very juicy line.
Yeah, hold up. Talk about the over-under for 1 sec. I'm just going to
Yeah.
concoct something really quickly.
Sorry. Say that again.
I'm just looking. If you were to make like an underdog parlay of the Commanders, the Ravens, and the game we were just talking about, the Jags. What do you got? Plus 2,000, pretty good.
That's solid.
Jags, Ravens, Commanders.
Jags, Ravens, Commanders.
Plus 2,000.
Yeah, it's a little risky, but with the Ravens and the Jags, but I mean that's still a great payout.
Yeah, it just seems like a little higher than you'd think it should be.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I just lost my train of thought.
Okay, well we'll just move.
Yeah.
We talked about that one for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Jets, Steelers. So the Jets rookies, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, are like gonna be stars.
Yeah.
They're gonna be stars. Sauce Gardner might make the Pro Bowl this year. He is. Mark Andrews week 1. Honestly, he didn't have a great week 2, to be honest, but he was locking down Jamar Chase this week. It was incredible. And Garrett Wilson got hurt, but he looked great every time he was on the pitch. So that's the weekly Jets report, but really happy about that. Terrible game. Really stupid game. Our coach sucks. But plus 3.5. This line should be 3. Jets in Pittsburgh. I think these teams are probably pretty equal in a lot of ways, especially without TJ Watt. TJ Watt would murder this Jets offensive line. Like it would be it would be embarrassing what he would do to this Jets offensive line.
No, but I think overall, I think this Jets team could very well come into Pittsburgh and put up a game, maybe win, but at least give them a little run for their money. At plus 3.5, if it's gonna be a close game, that's a pretty good pretty good line.
Yeah, and over under 40.5 is I would go over.
You're going over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good. Maybe a stay away.
I mean, well, if it's 21-20 or something like that, I mean, you're winning. Yeah, I'd probably do it. Yeah.
I think both these defenses allow points, is what I'm saying.
And Minka Fitzpatrick's in concussion protocol now. So I'm for it.
You know, Robert Saleh does this thing. He does a rotation on the defensive line. The Jets have a really good starting defensive line, but Quinnen Williams, for instance, who's PFF's 6th-ranked D tackle, despite only playing 56% of snaps. So it's like, hey, can we get him to 75% of snaps? Like,
what are we doing?
So stupid, man. Saleh's really getting on my nerves this season.
Yeah, no. How long's till Zach Wilson's back?
This is the week.
This is the week. This is the week. You didn't leave off with that.
It's not confirmed. Well, it's not confirmed.
Oh, okay.
But they said week 4 this whole timeline.
That's fair. So hopefully he's back in. That'll be a big day on College Street once.
Yeah, Saleh's expecting him back. I think
great.
You can assume Wilson's playing. So. Look, Joe Flacco was atrocious this week, and I was singing his praises last week. He was so bad this week. He was so immobile in the pocket. Like, I'm terrified every time he's standing back there and there's a blindside rusher. Wilson's mobility is going to help this offense.
Yeah, I think he's a little stronger. I'm excited to see Zach Wilson back in the field. And then we go to the Cardinals and the Panthers. This one was a little weird for me as well. The Cardinals are underdog here, even though the record and the on-field product may not show it. They're still a better team than the Carolina Panthers.
I think so.
Yeah, they have to be, right?
I think so. They had such a weird performance this week.
Yeah.
It was the most forgettable performance.
I don't even remember who they played.
They played the Rams, and that was 20-9, but they didn't do anything. And
no,
this is a weird line. Vegas clearly wants everyone to take the Cardinals.
Yeah, +2.
Everyone's just going to take the money line, right? Nobody takes +2.
But that is a little rough because field goal difference. You don't get it. You don't win that.
You could just tease them up to 4.5 or whatever.
3.5 +155.
No, that's the minus.
That's minus. My bad. Crap. Minus 170.
Yeah, it kind of loses the value a little bit.
A little bit. No, but that Cardinals money line looks very good to me right now, and I don't see a situation where the Arizona Cardinals lose to the Panthers.
Well, we'll see. I don't like the Cardinals at all, but yeah, I will take them in this for sure.
Yeah.
This is a pretty enticing slate of lines.
I know. It feels like they're just kind of baiting us to do it.
I know, which it's usually exactly the famous last words. Usually when you're like, oh, I'm not feeling strong, maybe this, maybe that, it's when you end up getting it.
Yeah.
There's some suspicious activity going on with these.
And
this one's also suspicious, to be honest.
This would have been a game of the week 10 years ago, but we got the Patriots.
Like 4 years ago.
The Patriots and the Packers.
Minus 10.
Mac Jones is out.
Right.
They did bring in Cam Newton though.
No, they did
not.
They did. No, they didn't.
I'm
There's
almost
no way I missed
certain
that.
they did.
I was freaking working in sports all day. No. I think you got punked.
I thought it was from the Bleacher Report. I got spooked.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
But Mac Jones is hurt.
Yeah.
I'll cut out that last part. Mac Jones is hurt.
Yeah, and I think their QB's name is Zappy. So
who?
That's apparently who's starting. It's a guy named Zappy. It's in Lambeau, so I guess minus 10 makes sense. I'm taking plus 10 though. Belichick bet. Double digits, Belichick doesn't sit right. Green Bay scored 14 points this week too.
Yeah. The Patriots defense just always comes to play.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a little worried about it. Whenever I see a double digit spread, I just stay away from me realistically.
Yeah.
Unless it's
so, but you would, if gun to your head, take the Patriots plus 10.
Probably.
Yeah, I would
probably. But yeah, I don't know what to think of this game, man. It'd be really close or it'd be a blowout. I think more likely a blowout, but with the Packers scoring 14 points against a pretty good Tampa Bay defense, I'm a little worried.
I'd be worried too, and also money line Pats plus 425. You just go screw it, Belichick game.
Put like $5 on it.
Yeah, just Belichick game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's good for one of these like a season.
I don't know if it's without his starting quarterback, but to each their own. The Broncos and the Raiders, the two frauds.
Good luck.
The two frauds of the AFC West.
Good Lord.
Again, I don't know what to go here. The Vegas has the Raiders as the favorite.
I'm taking the
-3.
Raiders.
The Raiders.
Screw the Broncos.
All right. Yeah.
I've seen the Raiders actually play well this season.
That's fair.
They actually were half decent in week 1, and I haven't seen the Broncos play a good quarter.
The Broncos defense has been all right.
Yeah, fair enough.
They haven't given them many touchdowns at all this year, but no, you're 100% right. There's been a lot more from the Raiders offense, but then again, Derek Carr he's just been really inconsistent this year.
Well, yeah, look at the QB he's facing.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, say it.
Like Russ, like he's going against, like nobody has been more uneven this year than Russ. Russ makes 4 good throws a game for like 18 yards apiece.
No, but with Derek Carr, he just goes through these lapses where he just throws a ball at 5 feet behind, 5 feet too high, and I don't know. I like Carr. I always have. It's just you can't get that full game performance out of him, which you need to have because it's costing the Raiders right now.
Raiders, I don't know. I like the plus 100 -3. I just think at home, they haven't been at home. They had their week 2 game at home this year, but they were in Tennessee this week. They come back home. Are the Raiders really going to be 0-4, or does it make more sense that the Broncos are going to be 2-2?
That's fair.
If the world is just.
I think, I think it's more likely Broncos come out of this 2-2. Yeah.
The Broncos being 3-1 would be an absolute sham.
Yeah. No, just fraudulent behavior. And then we have a pretty good Sunday night game. Actually, no, we didn't do the lines. Or did we?
What?
Do we do the lines on Raiders Broncos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm -3.
Yeah, I'll go -3. And then the Sunday night, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. Chiefs are an early -2 favorite.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, with Tampa Bay last week, Tom Brady looks lost. I shouldn't say that. He just didn't look great. And with a diminished offense as well, it's just Kansas City is just going to walk through this game.
I think so. -2. There's no way that line doesn't end up at 3 because the Chiefs aren't going to have 2 bad offensive weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And have the Bucs even scored a first-half touchdown this year?
I don't think so.
Good luck not scoring a first-half touchdown against Kansas City. Yeah.
And with the Chiefs, you have to keep up the offense.
Holy cow, what an enticing slate of games it is. I actually felt pretty good about like 80% of those picks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, I mean,
and I usually try to take underdogs on the line. I think it's smarter to take free points. Sleek's so unpredictable, but wow, there's just a lot of money lines, a lot of favorites with low lines.
But
my God,
I do say this every week. I feel good about my picks at going into the week. And I come out down $20.
I think I've said every week except week 2 when I made like $100. So I don't. Yeah. Rams Niners total stay away. Don't know what to make of either of these teams.
The Rams being an underdog too. That just confuses me more and just makes me want to touch it less.
Yeah. I just -2 Niners line. I'm like okay.
Can their offense score?
Yeah. Rams again win last week, but like without opening the floodgates. Niners obviously looked pretty bad. Good luck on that one. Maybe an over 42.
Even then, both teams have good defenses. And if anything,
Rams have allowed some points this year.
Yeah, but if anything, I think both these offenses are a little more sketchier than their defenses are.
You're right about that. 42 is just like, I don't know. You're not asking for a ton.
Yeah, it's a very standard over/under. I mean, you're not going to get many below or higher. They usually end up around there. So I think it was the overall stay away. But gun to the head, Rams +2.
I'll take the Niners.
I think we've almost had the same picks for all of these. Or just about most of them.
Yeah, that was most of them.
It's probably 1 or 2. I'll have to rewatch and kind of figure it out.
It's such a bad sign.
I know.
You took the Bills?
No, I took the Ravens. The Bills' defense is down.
Yeah, we were very aligned this week, other than that last game, I think.
Yeah, I think so, honestly.
Yikes. That wraps up another episode of the Practice Squad, recorded here at 22 Front Street, the Bottom Line Bar. Jordan, did you go out this weekend? I told you I worked Sunday at 8 a.m., so...
Yeah. Sorry, say it again?
Did you go out this weekend?
I watched football at a Bills buddy's place. It was last weekend in town, so it was a good chance to see him. But, no, I think this weekend I'm probably just going to keep it lazy.
True. Like I said, worked at 8 a.m. Sunday, had a work shift, so I had to have a little hair of the dog. Luckily, I threw on my Miller Lite sweater, had just a cold, refreshing Miller Lite while I watched the games, put the headache away.
Yeah, no.
Made me feel warm inside.
The Miller Lite's nice on a hangover. I will
really
say that.
Nice. And, looking forward to doing it all again next weekend. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again midweek next week, talk about all the games with some new categories, as we just discussed.
Yep.
Going to bring some categories, just keep adding layers to the show. So keep watching, and we'll keep coming back. Thanks.